So they say it's a everything is a psyop, of course. So as we can see, there's like a transparency laid over a map. It almost looks like it's textured just because of like how the transparency is laid on it. But like people were saying, oh, it has, why are they using like NATO symbols on it? And I'm like, bro, it's Arabic numerals, right?
Mhm.
So this is what, like, you said something about something where you're like, oh, they have a whole mapper. What did you say? You were doubting this when I
Me?
mentioned it. Now that you've seen
Oh
it, though,
no,
what
no, no,
did you
no.
think it was when I described it?
I thought you were describing like they had a. Oh my God, why am I having a brain fart again? Oh
Big map.
Jesus. I thought they had like the entire Hamas defense, and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, pretty decentralized. I don't know. But then you said it was a local,
yeah.
and I
So
was like,
now you
oh,
see
okay,
what I mean. It's more plausible to find something like this. Why wouldn't they? You
yeah,
know.
absolutely, yeah, that
So
makes way more sense.
I have this. This is just drawing where it is and where it's divided in Gaza.
Hmm.
So, and then reference back to the map. So I guess the people are saying these are NATO symbols, dots and lines.
Dots and lines are now
X's.
all made by NATO,
What do
100%.
you think these three dots mean? One, it's got a 1, 2, 2, 3, 2, 1. Huh? What do you think that means?
They're probably a platoon basis of operation, to be honest, or a company. Platoon is
Probably just they don't want to say over communications where they're going, so they've made code words for where they're going. I'm going to point
Yeah.
Alpha or point Bravo because if I say I'm going over
Or
to,
they just use symbols on a map, like dots and X's. You
that
know.
too. Yeah.
Because then
This is
also
not
like
what a
they
NATO
might have
map looks
also
like.
inside the tunnel network. You don't know if they have like how subway tunnels are like this way to go here. They might have a directory in there. They have to go, and
Yeah.
they have to, it's like you are here in the tunnel network. They have to figure out where to go.
Yeah, I lived in Japan. I remember dealing with subways. That was lovely.
Infamous Israeli shill here. So this is supposedly other intelligence that was recovered with this. Let me open the whole image in a new tab real quick so I can zoom in. Okay. Um, I think all of this seems correct to me, but I figured maybe someone who's a language expert could see some of the language on here. Like this is straight up like this type of pamphlet. Oh, come on. Like where haven't I seen that,
I was about to say, I think I have one of those
And
somewhere.
then CDs.
Yeah. At least it's not The Sims 3.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then they're talking
Yeah.
about this. This is clearly a foldable pamphlet, right? And they have a huge
Yeah.
stack of them. These
Yeah.
were on people who were in the raid. Instructions on where to hit the tanks and the trophy
Yeah,
systems and
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um, what do we think this document is? It's got the dots on it.
Oh no, not
Th-
dots.
those
They
dots
got their seal and stuff. But
have
this looks like an inventory type thing, like a
Yep.
checklist type thing. And you can see
I
there's
think.
numbers going down on this side. Like
Hmm.
that's like 26, maybe 6, 4, 9.
This all looks really like authentic to me personally. I mean, obviously, I'm not, like some sort of intelligence asset recently.
Wonder if these are
Here.
hand signed like worksheets, like signed in, checking in, because that's what it looks like. This one looks like a log sheet,
Yeah,
handwritten notes.
Oh yeah,
Hamas is
the
really
highlighted
well
one's probably a unit
organized.
muster.
So,
Okay, hang on. Two people are talking at the same time.
oh, I said Hamas is really well organized. So, like all this stuff, none of it surprises me.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to these groups, usually they're either terribly organized, and those are the ones that are usually actually started by some sort of intelligence agency, or they're incredibly organized, and Hamas tends to be more organized than most.
I want to believe that the CDs in the CD case here, it's not like backup files for the documents, but all music that they get to put on their videos. They
Yeah,
got it
it's like
backed up to CDs. It's not though. But this document right here, this central one, the date on it, it's it implies something considering it's marked October 2023.
hmm
So can we read what that says? It might be backwards if it's mirrored or anything.
Oh shit! I'm like I said before, Arabic written. I'm awful.
Uh,
I'm
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Most of my language skills are speaking and not.
No. I got you. I got something, and this can probably. Where the fuck is my cell phone? Google Lens can solve this problem.
Probably. Yeah.
Just give me 1 second. Let me check.
Use Yandex Translate.
Uh, location movement and staff attendance is what it says for October. So it is literally a logbook. I mean, they probably are wages too. You know, there's probably like wages and stuff in here.
Oh yeah.
And people are like, oh, this is so fake, psyop, right?
Nah, it's totally real. You don't.
I mean, the truth can also be a psyop, but yeah, I find it hard to believe that they would. If they were going to do that, it would be something much more sinister. Like, this is where we will gas the Jews. You know?
And then I think this is an interest. So supposedly this is in the tunnel, but there's a window behind them. So this must be the house that's above a tunnel, maybe, or maybe they hit a house. They have this is an HD camera, like a news camera that you might use here on the desk. But the AC unit, definitely you can see a window, maybe some fire or light in the background here. CD rack, bunch of CDs, some materials here. This looks like a log sheet. This might be a manual, it might be a regular just book. This is the CD case, you know, so it's some of the stuff that's in here. This might also be a chest, you know, like one of those like a literal chest that you open, not like a pirate chest.
Nah, yeah, it's probably a table because it's like steel.
Well, the way the metal is on the outside and how it has a hinge across is something that you can't see. If there's hinges, they would be right behind where this box is, you know. So it might be something where they literally like a lift up desk, you know. Oh, here's another side of it. Like they got all the logs in the background. It's like they can pull up their files to make sure everyone's been getting their hours.
I wonder if they have to do NKOs as well.
That's the thing, is it's like they literally are like, people are like, oh, what a psyop, and it's like, bro, this is literally like secretary work that this dude's doing. This is literally a guy who's distributing people to fold pamphlets, you know? Like, yeah dude.
This is exactly
role, you know, but this is like a staff officer type role that they hit here. Most likely. Anyway, for the greater picture of Gaza, I'm sure we have some maps here that we can pull up. And what do we think about the tunnels?
Honestly,
as a factor here.
Oh, as a factor, or like the quality? Because like I was a bit surprised that they have plastered walls in a tunnel.
Bro, you seen they have posters on the walls sometimes too.
Oh yeah, I can understand posters, right? Because you're just going above ground and grabbing a piece of paper. But if you're investing in a tunnel where you're building plaster, right? That's wait. Was that? Wait, can you pull up the picture again of that one bunker?
No, not right now. I'm typing on Twitter. What bunker? The one that I just had? From the Israeli shill that you sent me?
Yes.
I don't think it was a bunker. It looks more like an office to me, you know?
Yeah, that's why it's surprising.
I mean, this like might even be like a whiteboard or something behind them. Maybe a type. Oh, this is to cover the windows.
Oh yeah.
It's canvas to cover the windows so the bombs don't shoot through and kill them.
That makes more sense.
Yep, that tracks. Let me tell you, you know, in comparison to the Taliban, this is basically a modern military. Um,
Oh, well, that's why. So, like, the whole thing about Hamas being terrorists or not. And I was like, I just consider them a modern military. Like, I think they're a legitimate army. Like, the IRGC are also a legitimate army and terrorists. Like,
yeah,
I think I still think it's more beneficial to put them in their own category. The Houthis as
yeah,
well.
Oh,
yeah,
nowadays.
Well, the Houthis also use CGI to make their forces look bigger.
yeah. I was about to say, yeah, the Houthis have a tendency to
Embellish.
maybe embellish a bit. Yeah, they said that they're going to be the ones who wipe Israel off the map, and I'm like, how, Sway? How, Sway? Uh,
All right. What do you want to use with this map, James? Do you want to pilot this map for the ISW war studies?
Ooh, yeah. Uh,
Here, you can present if you want it.
uh actually, I don't think I've seen this one before, but it's a bit surprising, somewhat, over the reported activities, at least. Let me pull up. Pull it up.
It's just very difficult to use. The UI on it is not great. Hey,
Oh,
don't flip your shit, bro. Water obstacles. Who would have guessed?
oh, okay. Never mind. I thought those were. Never mind. I guess. Yeah.
What?
Uh, the map I was using didn't have the water obstacles, so I was very confused. Right, just for a second. Oh wait, yes, it does. I just
Oh,
ignored them.
I shared my own screen. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this one.
Uh,
All right, I have this one as well. So like, this one is from November 1st. So this is like the first day of the ground assault. I I think we were debating on how far up they moved in on the coast before. When that was the first day when they first landed.
yes.
Nothing. Anyone got anything to say or what?
One
Ooh.
second. I'm sorry. I'm trying to enlarge the. There it is.
So
Okay.
I'm gonna pull up Google Earth as well.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Can you go
day
back to
one,
the map really quickly?
the other map. Yeah, I can bring up the other map for you. This map's kind of annoying.
So the IDF in the can you zoom in? Yeah, zoom into this central Gaza section. A bit depressing how it doesn't have the zoom onto your keyboard functionality, but that's fine. Down southwest. So they're building strong points there, right?
Hmm.
Is that what these dark squares are?
No.
Clearing operations. What are these? Oh, those are water.
Oh yeah, those are water obstacles.
So are these like water infrastructure? Probably. That's why they're shaped like these. Like, see how they're like individual squares almost?
Yes. Like, let me see what those are on Google Maps.
See, oh, look, it's like it's
Oh,
marking
it's the
them
water
as
treatment. Oh, what
it's
the
literally
fuck?
marking them as water infrastructure.
Yeah, it's a water treatment plant.
I think
That's
that
the only.
light blue is the armored unit that has come in recently.
Yeah,
Yes.
the light blue. It says the furthest advances.
Yeah.
Mm.
Dark blue is water. Or kind of dark blue.
So, All right, dead air.
Oh, excuse me. So, I'm sorry. I thought James was going to jump in there. So one of the things that I think is going to be a problem, and we were speaking about this earlier before we went on air, is friendly fire, because one, the section of Gaza that they are currently occupying, and the area in between it is, it's a decent sized territory, but the reality is when forces pass each other, more likely than not, there's going to be a level of friendly fire, and we're dealing with a conscripted military here. So these are not largely professional military members. And I don't think, at least I don't have the faith in the IDF to not accidentally shoot themselves. And I'm sure Hamas is going to take advantage of that and worsen that issue. And I still think no matter what they're doing right now, they're on the wrong side of Gaza.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, if they're really there to take out Hamas isn't in the north as much as they are in the south. Their tunnel infrastructure goes all the way out there to the coast by, near the border with Egypt. Wherever they're doing here, they're being prompted to go in. Now, granted, the hole that they made in the fence, I believe, was in that area. I just find it hard to believe that.
Well, didn't the one side was the water landing and we were debating how far up they went, like with the water landing.
Everything I heard about the water landing was just that was where the point I was like, well, maybe they aren't a professional military, because it was such a nonsense moment, but I mean, entirely possible. I think more than anything, though, we're going to end up with lots of friendly fire, which is then magnified by random appearances by people popping out of tunnels, Viet Cong style, throughout this area. And plus Hamas has hardened infrastructure in that area.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So
it's going to be a challenge.
This is like new imagery right here. So this is that further south area, which seems like mainly maybe we're looking at like they do like a forward operating thing.
Yeah.
But like they've literally bulldozed all this shit, right?
They're trying to. They're essentially circling the wagon, probably to set up. There's 6 of them. I'm gonna pull up a chart of the IDF's unit structure. These are either battalion bases or, I guess, battalion scale forward operating bases or brigade ones. Probably battalion scale.
Yeah, I think this is a fob. This is clearly a fob. The amount of caterpillars that the IDF operates is disproportionate to like even, in comparison to size, the U.S. military. So, I mean, they use a lot of heavy machinery to move shit around. Oh, excuse my French. NAFO sex tunnels. Oh my God. Sorry, now my brain's gone. The area that they've cleared there is pretty clearly they think they're fighting an entrenched force that's going to retreat, and it's going to run right into their lines of defense. But like, that's not how warfare works anymore, especially in this area where they're fighting another force that has so many entrenched positions. So I see more political nonsense here than I do actual military strategy. But I think a lot of the friends that I have who are Israeli on YouTube, who make their money off the fact that they used to be in the IDF and they're teaching Americans how to use a pistol, are going to lose a lot of money, because like all of that veneer is gone. Like, obviously, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's like the vaguely ethnic accent's not going to help much anymore.
Oh, your mic's off. I think your cord might be loose.
Ah, there's the issue.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So the bodies of these people were hit, right? We saw them like they're evacuating, not the ambulance that they bombed. That's another one. But there's this video. It's somebody on a bike and there's like a bunch of bodies, right?
Yep.
So these people were trying to evacuate the area and apparently got struck. And the IDF is, again, this is one of those things where the IDF is saying that they didn't do this one. But they fully admit that they literally bombed these ambulances, and like that's like obviously a more brutal thing that happened here.
It's actually a bit surprising that, not really surprising per se, but or unexpected. I guess it's not great, is a way of putting it, that Hamas has escalated its efforts to keep enough people in Gaza to complicate the IDF's operation, or Gaza City, that is.
So, then that gets more into like the whole thing of human shields, right?
Yep.
I mean, obviously, like,
Which is
we were
something
talking
we're not
about,
supposed to say happens.
yeah, I mean, the left loves to talk about how human shields aren't a thing, but there's like a
Well, I
different
think
level.
I think it's really Israel who does more damage to it because
Oh,
they
absolutely.
paint it like literally. I've seen Israeli soldiers pick up children and use them as shields. So
How am I not
so if we're
surprised
gonna
by
talk
that?
about like actual human shields, like I've seen a Palestinian child. It's documented as well as happening in the Second Intifada.
Oh,
Right?
really?
Yeah, I've heard it from there as well.
Wow.
Also, you know what's funny? This rumor that we've now been proven false about the baby in the oven, like one of the like Palestinian leaders said that like during one of the conflicts, there was a
Yeah.
massacre of a Palestinian and a Palestinian baby was put in the oven. So
What?
it's like it's even the first time, it's just Israel doing the rumor that was proven false this time. It's I don't think there's evidence for or against. It's just some guy said that they put his baby in the oven, and it's like a upper echelon Palestinian like leader, it might be Hamas leader or something.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things that people don't like to talk about, I mean, I have a lot of experience in Ukraine and whatnot, but not as much as like people like Dylan, obviously, who I think he's just a little touched. Love the man. But human shields, like, there's a difference between, like, yes, we're going to put this here because there's a lot of people around it. And that means that if they attack it, we'll pull CNN over here. And we're the only source of food and water in the area. So people come near us, whether we want to or not. We were talking about mission creep before with civilians. When I told that funny story about, oh yeah, make sure you put all your name on all your limbs and your torso so I can put Humpty Dumpty back together again, after you get hit by a mortar or something like that. But like, it's a common thing. Yeah, not allowing civilians to evacuate the area is going to heavily complicate it. But if we're going to be honest, um, not a ton.
All
I have very little.
militants benefit from civilians around them
Oh yeah,
in the field.
absolutely, yeah. I don't see either side of this conflict having much care about, you know, uh, people in the field. So, I mean, civilians into the crossfire. So, yeah.
So this is sourced by known Turkish propagandist here, but he has the territory way more spread out than other maps are showing. And I mean, this is like the densest area in Gaza right here.
Mm.
But I think their whole thing about them attacking the wrong area. Well, they don't want to drive them back up into Israel, right?
Yeah, no, that's why I think like the true purpose here is not anything to do with that, all that stuff. It's got to do with, well, they attacked us, now we're going to take more land from them. This is
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
Yeah.
how I'm seeing.
yeah, that's where I'm sitting as well. I just, if they really wanted to get rid of Hamas, they would be moving civilians north. Wait, I got that right. Yeah, they're moving civilians north, not south. This was really just about Hamas. But
Here's this this is also from technical, right? And
Yeah.
this is what we were talking about, the strong points, the blue markers being strong points. And they're bulldozing this whole area that we've seen, this whole line.
Yeah. Sounds like somebody's making a theme park. No, I'm sorry, that's a terrible 4chan joke. Yeah. It's gonna get way worse before it gets better. But you said that you thought that this would be 4 times the casualties.
Next week, I think casualties will go up by 4 for the IDF.
I think
4
probably
times
higher.
as much as this week.
Yeah, because if they move forward further, they're going
Well,
more into the trap they've already sprung.
They've gotten hit from like a few sides already.
Hmm.
And then it's like, so we have here that, see, it's like this is the coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Al-Quds brigades launch drone targeting Israeli command center. Oh my God, what are you even doing, you two? Can you hear them? How loud are they?
I can't hear them at all.
Okay. Several Palestinian militant groups called for total popular mobilization against Israel in the West Bank. We've seen some IEDs. They've mostly been like black powder based, from what I've seen.
Yeah. There were
I'm
a
not
couple
timed very well, which would be like probably something, sugar, fireworks.
Yep. I mean, the base rocket that Hamas uses right now, its fuel is made from fertilizer and
sugar.
And sugar, yeah.
So I have a
it's
source from
more
Fox News.
ambulances carrying Hamas terrorists.
almost the difference being not plan but execution. This is a practice. This is an established practice, and for those of the viewers who have been around and saw the war in 2014, we showed video footage of it back then, of Hamas operatives, armed operatives, getting into ambulances, going from one place to another, using them as their taxis on the battlefield. What we're seeing now,
do we care?
A little bit. Because they showed the inside of this ambulance, right?
Yeah, I mean, there was like a horse dead as well. Like the footage from bombing these ambulances was brutal.
You notice on Fox that they're not going to show the street littered with bodies.
Well, that's why I put on Fox, because I don't want my stream to be banned or anything, but mainly I wanted to hear what he had to say about it. I mean, they're totally confirming that this one they did, while at the same time they're saying that the ones that were done on the road earlier weren't them.
Yeah.
And the last time, remember, I said it's plausible that the road obstacles that Hamas was putting in the way, where they said there was a bomb that looked like it was fuel based, and it could potentially even just have been an accident, So, how it's a controversial thing and it totally does Israeli propaganda, but like, how likely do we see something like they would put a bomb on a civilian evac route, or who's bombing civilian evac routes, Israel or Hamas at this point? Because Hamas would use the evac routes. If they're going to kill them in ambulances, why wouldn't they kill them on the evac route as well?
I think... Oh, sorry, James. Go ahead.
It's probably unlikely that they're using bombs on evac routes, or Hamas's rather.
Well,
because
it would have been rockets, I think Israel said.
yeah, even that's sort of unlikely, right? Because right, how how they'd have to miss substantially because the remembering it correctly, this evacuation or where these wounded or killed was nowhere near IDF positions, so they would have had to have literally missed by like a mile.
Yeah. Wait. What? From Israel? The IDF would have had to have.
For Hamas to have.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised they missed by a mile. Those rockets are like not great.
Well,
I mean,
Israel is claiming that they aimed directly at him.
Oh yeah,
After
Israel's
opening a humanitarian route was announced today for civilians, blah, 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 located at this time and place. Hamas attempted to prevent Gazan civilians from evacuating, including firing at IDF soldiers sent to open the route and facilitate secure movement of civilians. See for yourselves. This doesn't tell me anything, you know?
Yeah,
See for yourselves.
this is a
Okay, you
map.
put some lines on a map, okay? I can do this too. Right?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know much
Graphic
about
design
that.
is my passion.
Yeah, I don't know much about that, but I would say, I mean, it's not a surprise if either
This isn't
party is
even the
guilty.
route we were talking about. I think the route we were looking at is the other way. The point is, they've at least one of the routes that they've opened has been claimed to have been hit. This is November 4th, so I thought it was over underneath this. But anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no. I think I was thinking about the one last week would have been when they had the route open with the fuel-based fire previously that we talked about, and then the other one, the other route south. I mean, oh my word, what is up with my brain today? And people were, there was an explosion on the road. In that first one, I think you're right. I think it was probably either some sort of silly explosive. Either it was some kind of fuel-based explosive that is purposeful or accidental, but it wasn't anything from the IDF. Probably the other one I was a little iffy on, and then I looked into it, and the impact crater was tiny, but this one I don't know enough about to even have an opinion on. Like, there's nothing to even judge, and Israel can say what it wants, and Hamas is obviously going to say what it wants. Hamas can't decide if they actually killed civilians or not. We've got the guy in Qatar coming on TV and being like, "And we'll do it again," and then the other Hamas guy being like, "And we didn't do any of it."
Yeah.
It's like, so.
Well, I mean, like, that's some Hitler shit, not caring about your own civilians dying.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But
Yep.
you can see some of these pictures provided by Onset Technical here. See, it's marking the bulldozers all through here. And it's showing, like, they just can't help themselves. They're like, wait, we have an opportunity to bulldoze Palestinian homes. That's what I think it is. They just can't help themselves.
I think part of that's the case, and I think part of it is just honestly the
Thermobaric mine clearing system.
Yeah, they should send that to Ukraine. Maybe they can learn about putting some lovely air some some infantry with their
tanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I have some of that saved further down the line. But I wanted to talk about the diplomacy side. I think this is probably my favorite picture of the Biden admin so far. Somebody said that they're showing them pictures of like massacres or something, but like I love the above how it says fragile equipment handle with utmost care.
Yeah, it's a sniff.
And like this is clearly somebody who's just trying to talk to Bibi Netanyahu, like what a headache. But the obviously massive protest today, which I mean, congratulations. There's going to be more, obviously, but I wanted to talk about if this is a genocide or not, and who's got hot takes here.
Hot takes. Me? I would never. I don't know if it's a genocide. It's definitely ethnic cleansing of an area.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even. I don't think anyone can make a case against that. But oh God, you guys are trying to get me fired. No, I'm joking. I think more than anything right now, one, I feel so much pity for Anthony Blinken because if he came out and like joined Palestinian protests, people on the left and the right would find a way to be angry at him, just purely about anything. That
Oh, they
man's
don't.
aged 10 years in the past week.
Yeah, they don't
Um,
care about the diplomacy stuff.
yeah. But I mean, it's if the West Bank, which has this whole time just sparked up this whole during this, well, nobody's watching the West Bank. You know, they're shooting olive farmers trying to run
Yeah.
out to their crops. I mean, it's hard to not see that there's clearly genocidal intent. You know, at least from where I'm sitting. You know, but what do you think, James?
I was going to agree on that. It's definitely ethnic cleansing line. Uh,
Isn't that genocide?
not exactly. You can do.
Well, the thing is I think if they don't plan on having them return, it could be considered genocide. That's intent to.
That's true.
That's intent to destroy in whole or in part. So if they plan on letting them back later, because Pakistan, for example, they pushed everyone out of the tribal areas and then just flattened everything. They like nothing was left. Everyone was bombing everything there.
Hmm.
And it technically did put the TTP down for a while, for a few years, but like it definitely war crimes were happening. Very, very bad war crimes. And like, there were still civilians in there, but Pakistan doesn't have the light that like other countries have on them. So
Yeah.
they did let people return though.
True.
But that's also a different, much, much different thing, because it's not like Pakistan is like, somebody could make the case for the Pashtun people, but come on, it's quite different. The next diplomacy thing that we're talking about, Hezbollah dropped Marvel teasers leading up to this speech, and then the speech basically, all he said is that Hamas did this 100%. Hezbollah did not do this, and we're not getting involved. And I've been posting, everyone who posts there's before he got up, there's chairs, right? There's just a lot of chairs, and I was thinking, wow, somebody had to set up all these chairs for nothing, because I didn't watch this shit. I knew exactly what was going to happen here, right? So everyone who was like posting it, like because they're it went viral, the chair like being filmed. I kept posting. The only regular show episode that I've seen is them setting up chairs. So I'm just posting this cartoon about them arguing about setting up the chairs, because I'm just thinking about like, bro, what a waste of time. Like, that's all I've been thinking more about setting up chairs than like his actual speech at this point.
Yeah, when his speech came out, I called my dad, who was ex Israeli intelligence, and he told me, I asked him if he's going to watch the speech, because he's in Poland right now coming back from Ukraine.
That.
And he was like, fuck that. I'm not watching that shit. He's like, he's going to be like, Hamas did this. We don't want anything to do with it. We don't want to fight Israel. And I'm sitting here like, I kind of want them to like have my, my dad searching for the word English being his like 8th language, being like, Asian guy in San Francisco, big lizard. And I'm like, let them fight. Yeah, let them fight moment.
Godzilla.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. I actually really thought they were gonna like at least posture, because I thought there is some,
I was joking that I wanted them to turncoat and say they were joining the side of Israel, because that would be the funniest thing to happen. Like, Like I was hoping they would go all the way. Like they clearly don't give a fuck about Hamas, but I was hoping they would like just go full mask off and be like, we're joining the side of Israel now.
Yeah, they're gonna bring back the Christian. What was the Christian militia that did the slaughter in the
Lebanese
80s?
forces. It's where
Yeah.
they used Mia Khalifa used to have their logo tattooed on her wrist until a Beirut explosion, and then she got it covered up with something.
Oh, Mia
So
Khalifa.
only terrorist group that has had their logo in porn that I know of.
That you know
And
of.
it's like the most popular porn, right? That's their greatest
Khalifa?
accomplishment.
Mia Khalifa's popular? Is
She
she?
used to be. I mean,
Yeah.
I think she's still like number one on Pornhub, but like, you remember people are saying that Pornhub was deplatforming her and not giving her money. People really think she gets money from that. Like, she literally was basically sex trafficked. Like, have you heard the story behind it?
I
Like,
wouldn't be surprised, but yeah.
basically, she was not paid at all for any of that, and like the company has all the rights to that stuff and make a shitload of money off of it. And she didn't really like get a say in what she was doing. It was like super fucked and exploitive.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
why
not
she gets
surprised.
triggered if you bring it up.
Yeah, of course.
Rightfully, I didn't get triggered now is like a bad word because of the
Yeah.
fucking rightoids. Anyway, look, some olive branches.
يعني مبينين مسدة ومن خلفهم مسدة شيناهم هم ينصرون.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Okay, what kind of weapon is this?
That looks
an
like
IED.
yeah, it's an IED of some form,
A
but it's
shaped
not
charge.
originally. Yeah, it's
It's
a
got
shape.
it's got a label on it. Do they label like this is the tank one? Like how
This is a pipe. That is a pipe.
Okay,
that-
so it's a lead pipe? Like a
I
plumbing
don't know
pipe?
if it's lead, but some form of pipe.
Well, why
Yeah,
wouldn't they put lead pipe? You know, I mean, they're ripping up plumbing to get this pipe.
I mean, I don't know if it has to be lead though.
I mean, it's treated lead. That's what you use
Yeah,
for
but-
plumbing.
Yeah.
It's fine. You
As
can
a
use it
as a
in
person
low-income areas.
who was trained on anti-tank warfare, that's like the worst possible spot to get hit. Like when we worked on the Snipex Alligator to take down Russian tanks, that's exactly where the turret function is at, directly behind there. The Merkava's technology is largely based on the T-72 and T-90. Yeah, that's a pipe.
It's even got a tail on the end of it.
Yeah.
Right?
So
it's like it's almost like a handmade rocket.
Yeah, something like that.
And he just takes the impact fuse off, and I guess they can set him for timing.
Timing, with quotations. Yeah. So what's happening here is, I'm guessing in that
Oh,
pamphlet.
you know what
said
they
it
probably
sucks.
use it for? Mortars, because you set the timer on the mortar,
Oh.
right?
Yeah. Usually, their mortars aren't used like ours. They don't. Us or Russia. Russia has these packs that they wrap around their mortars as they take them off for timing, and we just have like set charges. But yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
But it looks like the tail breaks off when he sets it down. He sets it down so hard, like it distorts. But this tail might be 3D printed even.
Yeah.
If it just breaks like that.
I have a source that I need to put you in contact with, both of you, from the IDF, who showed me some interesting stuff about
What do
possibly.
these chains do in the background on this tank?
God, I don't even remember.
At this
I've heard
point,
this
nothing,
before.
right?
Oh no, fuck all. Yeah, nothing. It's not going to stop anything. If they were shooting like an RPG-7, it may be able to deflect some of that like shrapnel, but this close, it's just extra shrapnel shooting back into the turret. Hopefully no one joined the Israeli Space Agency. But
And back here, is this another tank or is this the same tank?
it's the same tank.
Okay.
Yeah.
There might be another one
Yeah,
off to the right.
This might be one here. You can see the cope cage on it.
Why do they have cope cages?
Oh yeah, the IDF has a lot of coke cages right now.
Are they dealing with javelins?
No.
Jesus.
I think it's for the drones.
You're not dropping them on top of the turret, though. Yeah. That's like the double worst place to get hit. I mean, I don't
Literally
know as
came
much
up
about
from a
the-
tunnel, was able to take out 2 tanks right there, and how in 30 seconds. That's it's not edited, I don't think.
يعني بقى يمسد
What's funny is like for every time I hear this, I think he's going run, 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 run.
من خلفهم سدة فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون.
It's so
I mean,
distorted. It's
stopped
hard to
there.
make
So
out
less
what
than
he's
30
saying.
seconds. No cuts, no cuts. Yes, no cuts.
And the 7.62 going off.
It's probably 20 to 25 seconds. They just lost 2 tanks.
Yep. One of the things that's really interesting, and I'm sure John and James both know this, but for the audience, you can tell the difference between a 5.56 round, so a Tavor, and a 7.62 by the sound it makes. Take your hand and put the palm of your hand out like you're going to clap, and then turn the other one around and smack your hand against your palm. That's a 7.62 round. 5.56 is a little bit softer, a little bit more accurate. You know, America, we're going to kill you, but we're going to kill you softly. Yeah, that's the difference. That was clearly an AK, I think, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, looking at that, for years it's been theorized that the Israeli trophy system is bullshit. And
I've yet to see any like trophy defense from them.
Yeah, I've seen we've seen 5 tanks taken out. Dang. Did somebody put squad wiped on there?
Yeah, me. This is gonna be uncooperative. Right,
Yeah,
anyway,
and that RPG 7 round, the nose on it makes me think that it's homemade.
yeah, could be. I mean,
Yeah.
you really like may not even have a stabilizer on it. You never know. Anyway, like you can see where they're shelling and airstrikes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it doesn't necessarily mean Israeli shelling, right? It just means shelling in general. Because like the Palestinians obviously have shot back clearly. Now these types of videos we've seen a lot of ambush videos. I think that is like the first of many. It is only going to get worse for them.
Oh yeah.
Is changing TTPs on the fly is hard.
Yep.
How do we feel about the organization on display? Doggo.
These people are just they're in very safe territory, it feels like, in comparison to the rest of this engagement.
Well, here's these bulldozers that we're talking about. Like they're taking out, like they're clearing this whole strip, right?
Yeah. If they were really concerned about what was inside those houses, they would not be on the street. The IDF's skill sets when it comes to being in combat, I've been saying this for years, and it's bad that I feel vindicated by all this, but I do. Skill sets vary, Being in the IDF doesn't mean you're in Sariyat Makal,
Hey, sorry, James, can you pull up the drone patrol map that we've got for the Delta theory?
Oh yeah, the Predator drone.
Yeah, if you can find that while he keeps continue. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah. So for these basic infantry patrols, I don't, especially the stuff they're showing as propaganda. I just don't see these people. Their uniforms look way too clean to have been in combat for days. Just laying on your stomach for 20 minutes and you're filthy. It's the same way I felt about when we had a commander of a Russian platoon handing out to freaking food to a babushka. That was just
Yeah,
propaganda.
it was the Kerry Route too, right?
What'd you say?
I think that was one of the Caddy Robinson.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I just a lot of it is just propaganda, and the other part of it is just people not understanding, how a lot of this works. But yeah, I think more than anything right now, we're just seeing that, there's different levels of skill sets when it comes to the IDF versus um oh my God, I'm losing it.
Hamas.
Versus, standard infantry, in the
No,
IDF.
okay.
Yeah, but and versus Hamas, I mean, a lot of these guys have only fought. That's all they do. They're fighters. And then there's parts of Hamas that are people like bakers and all sorts of crazy crap. And
Accountants.
accountants. When it comes to a professional soldier versus, a conscripted soldier, there's a huge difference in skill set. I hate the movie 300, but there's a scene in there that just hits it on the head. Old friend, I brought more soldiers than you did. And being a professional versus being a guy who does it on the weekends is very different. And that dude who just ran up and took out that tank, that's a professional. My guy turned and fired within a minute. Like an RPG
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Oh, 20 seconds. Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Two tanks,
a
20
person.
seconds.
That's a dude who that's what he does. That's his living. He's a professional. But,
That's like who's the RPG god? What's his name? Jamshed.
Jamshed.
That was some Jamshed shit that guy just did.
Except like accurate.
Well, Jamshed killed all those guys. What are you talking about? They said that Jamshed nailed it first shot. Are you telling me that Jamshed is alive? Who sent me a simulation of a nuclear weapon?
Oh God, I don't want to.
Is that the dickhead who's saying that Israel is going to nuke Gaza?
Yeah. Is that you want to talk about this?
Oh no, fuck that guy. He's an idiot.
You sent it.
Did I send it? I might have sent it by accident.
What? Why?
I don't remember sending that.
Purpose?
Because they have one. As long as somebody has one, there's always got to be some idiot saying that.
They're gonna use it.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're gonna use it. Yeah, that totally makes sense. A nuclear weapon.
Speaking of nukes, they've used more ordnance than like an atom bomb at this point.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I try to explain to people the whole point of deterrence is not that nukes work and that they're destructive bombs. It's that you threaten to use them because people have the taboo and they're afraid of them. But like the damage you can do with a nuke can be done with conventional bombs. It's really the radiation that's the issue. And even then, a bomb radiation is not like Chernobyl.
Yeah, use an airburst. You don't have to worry about it as much as anything like that.
Depending, yeah.
Yep. I mean, nukes at large as weapons are actually kind of useless.
Yeah, they're not directed enough.
Yep.
There's a reason.
They're good at sea.
They're great at sea.
I'm surprised that Britain didn't use them in the Falklands.
Just for shits and giggles.
No, just because it was a naval battle. They were thousands of miles off the coast. Why not? It's the only modern naval battle that's really happened.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's Iraq gonna pull out? And
anyway,
ever since Operation Praying Mantis.
So it ambushed tanks, APCs, and bulldozers. So it says group used RPG-7 launchers, Iraq-made launcher, tandem rockets.
Wait, can you go back in the video a bit? I just noticed that now that Matt pointed out earlier that they're professionals. You notice that the IDF is sort of, or the Israeli army personnel are sort of casually walking through the streets, even though they're in hostile territory technically.
Well, those are the guys who are hanging out with bulldozers, Oh, look, I paused. You can see the rocket literally right there on the screen.
Somebody's about to have a bad day.
Yeah, that's right. That's the target's right here.
I've been behind a Humvee that got hit by an RPG-7. Not a fun experience.
Really good editing that they're showing here. I like the freeze frame where they're like freezing frame on the rocket and stuff. They're definitely
Yeah.
that's what always one of my favorite things about like the more type of like terrorist side of militants is how much better their propaganda is than the state.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining conversations amongst Hamas members that, like, you were talking about music that they put in their edits, right? Like, no, we must change this. This is cringe shit now.
Yeah. But like
Nobody listens to funk
the
music anymore.
desaturation of the background highlighting the tank with like that like night vision yellow that you see on modern night vision now.
Mhm.
Wait, scroll back a bit.
The guy standing in the street, like just ready to go.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
and I'll slow it down too.
that was. What the fuck is? These are probably not Hamas's best guys, and they're just storing AFVs. This is kind of embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Start any second now.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's embarrassing. God. I don't think they're gonna get their own YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure they're not gonna get a sponsorship from
No, Mike from Qatar.
Hey, Hamas editor, I'll hire you.
No, I meant the operators, not the Hamas editor. The Hamas editor's excellent. Yeah.
Look, they even throw in a circle here at the end.
Oh wow.
Hang on, well, it'll appear. It's just going really slow right now. Like they circle something at the end. See? See, that's totally just debris though.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They're circling debris. Oh, that's the whole coat cage.
Is it a code gauge? It looks like
it's
code or
you
something.
can see it's like a grid.
Oh shit!
It's like a flat grid. Totally. Might be a panel. I don't know. I'm not a tank expert.
This is why you put infantry with your tanks.
Stop fighting, you two.
That's what's going to end Israel Palestine. We start treating it.
Like, come on. Look at that, dude. That was fucking pathetic on Israel's part. Watch them casually. I can put sound on for a watch them casually just do this shit.
Oh fuck! He's facing him.
Facing them.
That's embarrassing. Wow. No way.
Yeah, that's what.
Fresh citrus. Not a good place to park your tank.
Yeah, not great.
Oh yeah, they're not even in Gaza City. They got to have taken like what, 30 casualties just in this video.
Come on, dude. The fact that they got a camera guy standing up right now, this is literally, the meme when we see the Chechen forces where it's like the camera guy must be invisible, right? Because he's always like standing at the window and they're like dancing around and shit. Tell me that's like, come on. How does this happen?
It's nothing good. I mean, like,
this also could be an auto turret right here too.
It's what's the Israeli version of crows?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay.
I wish I did, but yeah.
I don't know. Is that I don't know. I don't know if this is like an ammo box and a shield thing, or like one of those is a computer. It is an auto turret. It's turning on its own. The auto turret is literally facing the opposite direction of a dude filming this tank about to get blown up. what is your what is way to present that your technology doesn't work? The fucking Australian Bearcat thing, their auto turret has been insane in Ukraine. Have you seen theirs?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah.
What are you looking at? What's Bluff looking at? What's Bluff looking at? I would say that the trophy system is bullshit.
Yeah.
Fuck, one of the bulldozers.
They put a ladder on there for him. Literally lit that with a lighter.
So, oh my god. So one of the things that I think is telling here.
They're dissing on him now. What are you doing, Israel, bro?
You know the worst part of this video?
How embarrassing.
The worst part of this video, it's probably from the same company.
Totally.
It's edited out of Qatar.
Yeah. So one of the things that I try to explain to people about how paranoid as an American service member in Afghanistan I was when I saw people on their cell phones, and not on their cell phone, they're talking, having a conversation or whatever. I just meant looking at me and just texting. That was paranoia incarnate at all times. I cannot imagine dude up there filming directly at it, like someone making an edit for frickin' GTA, and just cannot imagine. This is a big problem though, because nobody wants to sign up to be infantry because it sucks. We call it the suck for a reason, the green weenie, the long arm of the green weenie. But yeah, the Merkava, I think we can safely say that the trophy system is easily exploitable. Oh wow. So if you go back just a second, back to when that guy was loading the RPG-7.
We can loop it too. So they're saying that Israel is using this as a structure. So
it's entirely possible. Yeah.
It just sort of struck me, the difference between Israeli and Hamas's propaganda. Whenever Hamas is shooting something on film, that they're actually shooting at something or someone, versus the IDF is just firing.
I just noticed in the second run through here is that this guy has a DSLR. This is he's checking out the footage, making sure his camera's got its batteries and shit.
Yeah, if you look at this guy right here who's got he's got a blue tape around the front, not the front, but the handle of his RPG-7. You'll see here in a second. Right here. This guy's going to reload. Right there. So that is something I've only seen from the Taliban, because those are the newer tubes. Yeah. I was paying attention, James. I was paying attention.
About that.
Yeah.
We should probably have a conversation about how the Taliban are probably, they sent up a few hundred guys to help Hamas.
Apparently.
Oh, do we have evidence of that yet?
I mean no.
Technically, yes. Practically, we can't exactly share it.
Okay. Right.
Technically,
it's reasonable to believe that they would hire contractors.
They volunteered. These are guys from Badri 313, which is
which it's questionable how much they exist as well, because part of that brigade is PsyOps, and they do them quite well. But one time they did one where their helmets were all on backwards.
I saw it. Yeah,
it was one of the new ones.
No, this is old.
Yeah, sorry, you're exactly that. But when they were still getting the hang of wearing uniforms.
Well, they just had gotten like the American helmets, and they filmed like them clearing an empty hospital, but they all had their helmets on wrong.
Oh,
They
reminds me. Red
Damaged
group.
sites in Turkey.
What?
What does this mean? So it says assisting efforts damaged sites in Turkey.
I don't know. Clash Report's been saying some stuff that I'm like,
that's
Well, they're Turkish.
Like,
yeah.
Can't trust them.
Can't trust the Turks, yeah, like especially the young ones. But I'm letting the joke take effect. I think
I
more
mean,
than
I heard it. I'm just also pulling stuff up at the same time because
yeah, I know.
we were talking about
just
Clash Report, and this is the M9 Reaper that they've allegedly been saying have been doing surveillance missions.
and if it's been doing donuts around Gaza.
I mean, yeah, I could see us doing that even if we didn't have anyone there. I mean, we did do it in the Black Sea as well.
But we definitely have Delta's definitely planning on something, right? Actually, wait, I take that back.
Well, they've been trying. So they've said Delta has been. They've totally said that operators have went in. They've been honest about that. They said that they conducted raids certain nights, right? But ever since this all happened, it seems like they're like, no, it never happened because they don't want people to associate us with the IDF. Because Delta would not be there for Hamas. Like if Hamas wanted to negotiate, Delta would negotiate with them on the ground and not like have to like fire any rounds.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Delta would rather not fight. That's one of the best comments I ever. I wasn't a Delta guy. It was a dev group guy that I know, and I remember him telling me, he's like, "Yeah, one of the best things about missions is that sometimes the best fight is not fighting at all." And I was like, "What the hell does that even mean?" It's like blowing my mind with the most basic logic. But really, I don't see Delta really thinking like we should probably not call before we, knock, proverbially, here with knocking being blowing open a door, because I do find it hard to believe that Delta doesn't know where these people are. Just because I know how sinister our freaking intelligence apparatus is.
I mean, this is what they do. This is what's supposed to be the thing about being American is no matter who you are, where you are, if you get captured, they will come for you. That's why we don't negotiate with terrorists, right? Like this is what keeps Americans safe. Is that these groups should be terrified to touch Americans. And that's kind of like Deltas, they literally are Reapers. They're using M9 Reapers and they are Reapers. But like really, really good sources have told me that they're not there, but also sources that it's like, hey, they don't necessarily know. They don't handle Delta operations. They do like hostage negotiations,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I would keep the idea open to the probability of Delta raids have been ongoing, but you should separate them from what Israel is doing.
Yeah, I think more than likely, if there's a Delta raid going on, it's when Israeli operations are not happening. Mostly because we don't like having that many people in the AO while an enemy nation is, or not enemy nation,
I mean, come on. They kind of are.
Oh, you mean Israel?
Yeah, I'm joking though.
Yeah, I don't know if I call them enemy, but they're definitely not an ally sometimes. Not the best ally that we've ever had. Yeah, I think more than anything,
all the comments are just to be like, what is the IDF infantry doing? Why are they fighting like this?
Because they're accountants, bankers,
yeah.
random people.
Okay. Stereotype. They also the Gringot goblins too.
Hey, I'm Jewish. I can make that joke.
Greta Thunberg over here with her octopus.
God, that whole thing.
But like, so I mean, what do we think? We have definitely a surround strategy going on, as we showed in the beginning. What what are we looking up next? Like, are we expecting them to actually do something where they push territory, or just get like squad wiped continuously? Like, what is Israel planning to do next?
I think-
Ooh, you want to go or should I go?
I don't think Israel has a contingent strategy thus far. I still don't think they do. Because, like, everything I've seen feels like they're doing the full surround. You know, somebody
Yeah,
played Hearts of
they're
Iron.
only in areas where there's not urbanization, though. They
Yeah.
haven't actually pushed into anything.
Yeah. Which is why
Like,
a lot
you can
of this
see
stuff.
this is farmland. You can see the farms.
Yep. I think more
Gaza,
than any.
known
Hmm?
for its farmlands. You can read about it even in the Bronze Age. This is how the civilizations would develop. Is that the
Mhm.
center civilization would develop the walls, and then the farmlands would be around it. And this
Mm-hmm.
area of Gaza and where they attacked, like they used to have 5 city states here. Gaza has been around since like the beginning of time, basically, as one of them. But
Yep.
that's what they would do. This is fertile farmland here that they're just taking out, not dense urbanism.
Yep. I think the second, if they choose to go into the urban areas, is when I still think you're low on the casualty expectation. I
Oh,
think
you
it's
think
higher
it's going to
than.
be more than 3 times? I just said at least 3, because I think it's like something like 2 dozen that we've seen, like maybe so far. At most like
Yeah.
36. But
Yep.
it's like, look at what we've seen.
Oh yeah. I think we're dealing with 5 to 6 times easy, just because, like, I mean, look at the attacks we've seen in these places where you're not expecting to have a lot of places to hide. Pretty extensive. Once you're in a place where you're expecting to be able to see people able to be hidden without, anything, we're gonna see 5, 6 times the casualties. If this is a long,
This is sorry,
Huh?
5 or 6 times per day. Is the
yeah. I mean, it's gonna be not disproportionate, but it's gonna be bad. Like,
I'm a very person who gives low estimates most of the time, as much as I can, including death counts for like confirmed kills.
mhm.
So like for example, like I will say that like the ground assault is unlikely to happen until it happens. Like, I'm definitely that kind of guy where I'm like, I wouldn't worry about it until it happens. I kind of put things off in like how I approach things. So I definitely like to estimate low, but weekend, like it's gonna be. I think is it Sunday there now, or it should. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tomorrow there now. So it's Sunday. It's the start of a new week, right? What total number are we looking at when it comes to next Sunday?
150 KIA at least.
150 people? Or
150 IDF
150,000?
personnel.
Whoa.
IDF personnel, at least 150 IDF personnel KIA.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
100,
Estimation.
150 or
Yeah.
1,000?
Total
Whoa.
people.
Yeah.
Total people, it's gonna be even worse.
Well north
Like,
of
way
10,000.
worse.
Do you think
Yeah.
you think what did you say, 10,000?
Well
10,000
north of 10,000
for IDF?
for total.
Oh, well, it's already hitting 10,000 for civilian deaths, But like IDF personnel, how many are going to die next week?
Next week,
God.
100
Oof.
plus probably.
That's all? You don't think it's going to be higher?
At the low end.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's what I like. That's going to be like if 36 have died now, times 3, you're looking about 150 right there.
So soft median, I'd probably maybe say 250 KIA.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Realistic.
The equipment losses, though, are going to be
Astronomical.
insane. Yeah, and if they don't I mean, we just saw they didn't even have infantry with the tanks when they were outside of urban areas. So I really find it hard to believe that they're going to learn on the fly here. Maybe that visit from Zelensky, maybe they're going to bring Zelensky, who's like, you should not do that. It's a bad idea, you know. But I find it doubtful that they're going to learn on the fly well enough to, you know, fix their mistakes. I mean, we're going to be dealing with multiple tanks downed daily at the
I
least.
mean,
I mean, we're just talking about downed, maybe not killed the crew, but I don't know.
They're probably going to opt for a hammer and anvil approach, right? With the fortifications or the battalion
Mm.
echelons or the two brigades holding the center,
Mhm.
being the anvil, with heavy push from the northeast coming down southwest.
Yep, that seems right.
they turned
I'm
away
just wondering.
Zelensky.
Oh, I thought that they said that Zelensky was coming now, the foreign minister,
Oh,
but maybe I'm wrong.
maybe they are now.
Yeah.
Anyway, anything else we want to talk about besides that the IDF is going to get squad wiped
Oh,
every day?
foreign reinforcements and whatever Iran's doing.
Okay,
I don't
what
think
is
they're
Iran
gonna do
doing?
much of anything.
Iran has been really good about setting up protests. They've helped there. Look, they're on TV. War Mapper, congratulations! Like that, did they steal it?
Yeah, they probably did. The Iranians look like they're going for a full court press, right? They're trying to apply pressure on every possible front, which is
Mm.
kind of expected, I guess.
And we want to be clear: pressure and force are two different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they're using it. They're using fuck. What's
Well, we have rocket hits on U.S. bases.
yeah? Those are probably going to accelerate. They might even conduct some large raids.
Yeah, get some concussy wussies.
Yeah, we'll go to TMI TPIs.
Bro, I think there's a react coming out of it, but it's the Colonel Douglas MacArthur interview with Tucker, and he's like, "These are advanced missiles. They have advanced targeting systems." I'm like, "Do they though?" It's like, do we not think they've been? Are they aiming? Are they missing on purpose? Do we really believe they're missing on purpose? They're just being like, "Hey, this is a threat missile. Come on."
Yeah, Douglas MacArthur is a person whose
McGregor.
name sounds really
McGregor.
cool.
I might have said MacArthur, but you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
his
if
name
you look at
sounds-
people we may know, the first person who comes up isn't another colonel with a similar name. It's Scott Ritter. So
Oh.
literally, people search for him and Scott Ritter more than they search for two colonels with like the same name together. That's wild.
Scott Ritter. What a lovely human. We were talking about maps earlier. 2-time map. Scott Ritter. Well, he's probably never stopped. Let's be honest. There's a reason he moved to Russia. What a lovely human. I love how he was talking to a Marine one time. They're like, no, you're not a Marine anymore. Nope. And he's like, what? No,
What?
you definitely don't fucking count anymore, my friend. You're the only one who's an ex-Marine. Yeah, I think I don't even remember his name. I just remember that I thought like, oh wow, this guy was like actually like a proper general. And then Mark Kirtley was like, he was L2.
principal. This guy
Yeah.
Douglas, he was principal in the strategy for the Iraq War, and
Yeah.
he planned the bombing of Serbia for the the Bosnian genocide ending. I'm pretty sure
See, I've heard
he might have done
some,
both. He might have planned the bombing of Serbia both times, but
yeah.
highly
heard-
accredited. And then he left, and when Donald Trump got elected, he was able to attach his clout wagon there, and has been riding it ever since.
Yeah. I don't remember if someone told me that he was not as principal in the invasion of Iraq, but because he was like
his
S2.
doctrine helped. He was retired by then, I think he retired in 2004 actually.
Yeah.
Anyway, fuck what.
Yeah, he's not the sharpest cookie in the drawer.
Oh, I think he knows he's making a bag and selling people shit. He wrote the book Phalanx is literally about why the Russian military is dog shit, and now he goes
Yeah, I
on
know.
Tucker talking about why they're great. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. In comparison to Hertling, who only
Even
wrote a
watching him,
book
I'm like,
about medical leadership. Weird
I'm watching
stuff.
him, I'm like, bro, is this guy paid by Iran? What is happening? Anyway,
He also can't do basic math.
here's some stuff from somebody who's been posting really good up to date stuff. So this is just West Bank stuff
Mhm.
that's posting. See, that she's collected different videos here of like this is just assault in the West Banks. So
Mm.
that's another component that we're not seeing. It says, Lena, is this the plan? Like, what are you guys doing? What is this? This is it's so bizarre to me because like there's all these like, you know, Spike TV shows like who would win, Spetsnaz or like the Israeli, like what are their special forces in Israel called?
Sirat Makal.
You know, what, don't mess with a Zohan, bro.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Oh god, I heard so many fucking don't mess with the Zohan jokes when people met my father. So many. So many. It doesn't help my mom's a hairdresser, so like it just doubles that nonsense.
So anyway, I think the conclusion here is from every analyst that knows what they're talking about is right. I mean, that's just not even words. Like no words. Hands up at this point.
What are they doing? What the fuck? Just go home.
I'm really confused. I don't understand. It makes me feel like it's almost as bad as when we were all like had anxiety about the Russia invasion, and then it was like a month of a traffic jam.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that was wild.
The funniest story from I gotta tell this story. Oh my god.
We can wrap
the
with
funniest thing I hope I heard from the Russian invasion of Ukraine was there was a tank commander who got captured because whenever they invaded, Zelensky had this like wild plan, like take all the traffic signs and like don't take them down. No. Swap them. Like make them go in the wrong direction. And there was this wild
There's
group
videos of them
tanks.
like keep going in circles and stuff. You'd see them like an hour later because there was all the
Yeah.
traffic cams that they were set up on the first few days. They didn't figure
Yeah.
out to shut them down. We were all on
Yeah.
there counting all the tanks and assets and stuff by hand.
Yeah, I was shown this footage of this one particular tank commander who had a map, and he was looking around, and I just remember thinking like the butter bar at the land nav course, land navigation. He was like, no, Staff Sergeant, I know where we're going. Okay, I went to the Naval Academy. It's like, oh yeah, we're totally gonna get there, my guy. You know, like we're totally headed in the right direction. But yeah, I get a feeling that that's going to happen in a similar way here because one, the IDF has no idea what Gaza really looks like with the soldiers today, because when did they leave occupation? Was that 2007, 2006?
Something like that.
So,
Something
yeah.
like that.
So none of the people who are operating today in the IDF, even in its most elite forces like Suryat Makal, you know, the other units that they have with the Mossad, none of these people were ever in Gaza. Never. Not once. So, I mean, they have no recollection of this area. So whenever you go into a place like this, you're going to get, you know, messed by with the locals. It's just going to happen.
One also thing that I wanted to bring up. Can somebody explain the bulldozer clip? Are you talking about the bulldozer that they lit on fire? They damaged it. It's just like they damaged it enough and put a flag on it. It's like you can damage the machinery in it like pretty easily. It's not like a military vehicle. I don't know. I saw somebody comment on it, but I wanted to I forgot what I was going to say now.
All of my elderly noble gold investment.
So yeah, what the current theory that is going around with a lot of like experts is that basically that Hamas didn't do the attack on October 7th. It was basically, it's like how Al Qaeda in Iraq can be traced back to 99 and 95 camps separate from Al Qaeda, and they ended up being ISIS. It's something like an inter-Hamas splinter group
Yeah,
that
it's
blindsided everyone.
it's probably the guys who've been training in Afghanistan.
But the thing is that when it comes to that, as far as the October 7th attack, we can say that it's likely was a small group because of the planning, but they obviously knew Israel was going to retaliate. So how much planning do we actually have by Hamas for an invasion? How much did this team run, and like how much is this team now taking over? Are they going to be turned to for intelligence because they had the plans here? I think this is a factor that's going to be unknown until we hit the urbanization area. And who knows? Maybe this will all be wrong. We'll know Hezbollah and Iran and all of them were like masterminds in it, and they're just trying to keep their hands clean. So crazier things have happened. So it's one of those things where I would go with the current theory that basically Hamas didn't do the October 7th attack. Like, kind of get that in your brain, even though it's totally is Hamas. It would be just like Al Qaeda in Iraq doing a massacre would be Al Qaeda at the time. But this is going to evolve into something bigger than Hamas. I would prepare your mind for that to happen.
What are we going to get? ISIS G?
To kill you. Look behind you. They're already here.
Yeah. We were also talking. I mean, you've tagged me a couple times on people who.
The
think
crossfire
that
of the massacre. Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Okay, so people, let's talk about bullets. This is my the song of my people, which is incredible violence. So most of the morticians, I don't remember the word. I'm sorry, everyone.
Morticians.
I'm ESL.
Crypt keepers.
Morticians.
Crypt keepers. Tales from the Crypt keepers.
That's a little bit
The
after
forensics people who have looked at these bodies.
forensic pathologists. And
There we go. Thank you. ESL.
They put their fingers in the hole, and they're like, "This hole is not big enough for a 7.62 round." They know from finger holing around in there.
Bullets have different impact radiuses and whatnot. I mean, it's not an exact science because if you shoot a body like 30 times, I'm not going to be able to tell you what was in there. But based on the forensic, most of the victims were shot at close range with 7.62 or smaller pistol range weapons. So from that point, we can tell probably not hit with an artillery shell or a tank shell, or whatever they were talking about, or a missile. Most of the victims also
also a lot of the sources are from Gray Zone,
who I trust about as far as I can throw them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
do we know that Aaron Mate is not two children standing on each other's shoulders?
it might be.
We do not.
Have you heard him talk?
But so a lot of these wounds also had powder burns at the exit, meaning that it was directly next to the barrel was next to the head. So if we're dealing with crossfire, what were they shooting at each other from the other side of this person's head? And they also didn't use artillery in the kibbutz that in particular that was targeted with this attack because of the amount of chemical fertilizer in the area, which we all know what happens when you hit chemical fertilizer with a large explosive. Kind of surprised Hamas didn't try that one, but
just to wrap this idea, what's interesting about this crossfire conspiracy coming up is it's the first conspiracy that the one guy we started with, Joel, the Israeli shill, he was one of the first person to advance the theory that Shireen was killed by crossfire from random Hamas, or not even Hamas. It was the West Bank, so it would probably be like Jenin brigades because it was in Jenin. something like that.
Mhm.
The closest group to funding them would be Islamic Jihad if it's Jenin. So Hamas doesn't really have influence in Jenin. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else?
Wait, Matt, finish the thought.
Mhm.
Oh, finish that thought.
Do you have
Oh,
it?
yeah.
I thought he was done.
So,
Sorry.
yeah, I mean, like the thought of there being a large explosive in the area at a building. There may have been a smaller localized explosion from an RPG-7, AT-4, the bevy of other systems that they use there in Israel, or whatever they branded the exact same thing and put a sticker over. They do that all the time. Looks at camera. Um, but sorry, I was doing my own Office mockumentary moment. But whatever they use it, there's not tanks shooting at random houses there because of the possibility of there being other explosions, along with natural gas lines in the area. Probably wouldn't be a wise decision. So yeah, I think if we look at it, I think the crossfire. I'm surely there was somebody who was killed by crossfire, because like if you put a whole bunch of untrained idiots in one area fighting other untrained idiots who have professionals sprinkled in amongst them, somebody's going to get killed by crossfire, just because people, when you get adrenaline, you are not thinking like, oh, let me parse out who's a civilian and who's not, but yeah, the vast majority of the victims we see, especially the ones that were streamed
On camera
basically.
being killed by Hamas.
Oh yeah, exactly.
They did film it.
Were killed up close and personal. There was no accidents. The IDF's not flying from orbit to shoot these people to frame Hamas in that particular incident, or this Hamas splinter cell group. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there, since happened a couple times this week, and I was just thinking it took me a while to track that back to Gray Zone. Which, fun fact, do you remember that guy who went up to, I think it was John Fetterman recently.
The senator?
Yeah, he went up to the senator.
Yeah, it was
and
some
he was
anti-war guy. He ambushed him and yelled at him and stuff.
like, is he anti-war? Because he's
I
talking
don't know.
about
It's
how
just some guy. I
Russia-
don't know. I didn't look into it. I could care less.
he's on,
What
he's
some
on
senator
Gray Zone.
in America has to say about a war he has no control over. Like, fuck
Yeah.
off,
He's a Gray Zone guy though.
that makes sense.
Wait, Mate or the other one?
No, they had
no,
a whole
it was
bunch.
Dan Kozleta. This week he's like, yeah, the Russians, they're moving so slow in Ukraine because they're trying to not kill civilians. And I'm like, where have you been, friend? So I just people should be wary of their sources if this is the first time they've seen them.
It's especially hard with Israel and Hamas. They have really good intelligence networks for fake information.
They have amazing intelligence networks.
Probably the best. Iran and Russia are really good too, but Russia was not prepared for Ukraine. Their intelligence and misinformation network fell apart, and now Ukraine's is better.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that. In particular, no, I'm kidding.
Well,
I don't
you
know
can look
anything
at
about
it. So actually, Facebook is very public about this. So Facebook publishes the stats on coordinated and authentic behavior. Ukraine is both a main exporter and target of it.
Mm-hmm. That tracks.
Which also counts people inside Ukraine doing ops against Ukraine. Which,
That's wild.
happens from the Donbass,
Yeah, of course, yeah.
technically.
Hashtag Arestovich.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Donbass Deveska when we need her?
Oh, that's the Is she in Florida?
She's in Washington.
Dude,
Wow,
anyone
such
can
a-
get a bag.
Yeah, I can't blame her. Get that bag. I too worked on terrible things. Velocipaster comes to mind. But I think more than anything, all of this disinformation, whatnot, it's not going to get better. People are going to get smarter about, God, I still remember, and I don't know if anybody else does, being a person who worked at Shueisha, which is the parent company of Shonen Jump magazine. So all your favorite anime comes from there. There was some, I got emailed from a very famous mangaka who created a little show about somebody being very datebeo. If you look at my
Nobody knows
profile
what
picture,
you're saying now.
the creator of Naruto emailed me this Russian state media thing where they were showing a symbol that was spray painted on a wall, and it was the symbol of the Hidden Leaf Village. But in their mind, it was an Azov battalion group who was trying to summon a devil. And I'm like, what if Kurama comes out of there? The Nine-Tailed Fox, you're screwed, guys. Like, you're finished.
So speaking of squad wipes, so a Clash report says all IDF soldiers were killed in Gaza. This was their last picture together. And I said, oopsie.